let's begin, right?
Yeah.
So here I have my friend Ruben, right? Ruben is Italian and Brazilian at the same time, right? He's from the a place called Trento here in Italy, and he's studying in Milan. What was the course again? Design?
The digital strategy.
The design, the digital strategy, right?
Yeah.
I was telling you before about the clip that you made, the reel, right?
Yeah, the last one.
Okay, I was gonna wait for the opportunity to be with you to tell you what I thought about it. I think it looked really cool. Like I think it was really cool, very well made. And like the thing I like, and this might be because I'm not saying these are like objective things, right? I'm saying these are all subjective.
Okay.
Like when I watched the video, right? And the purpose of the video is to show off a piece of clothing. Right, I get it. Even if you didn't write a script, I got that idea in mind. But whenever
By the way.
huh?
I did write a script.
I know, you showed me,
But I did.
But like what I like about the video, it wasn't even like the showing of the clothing, right? It's not even like I see the hoodie, right? The part that I really liked was you show yourself setting up the things, like putting the things on the bed, and then like rearranging stuff in the room, and then the people bringing it in and out, and then you go to the stop motion part where you have a person doing this, a person doing that, this, like the whole. It's kind of like I don't like videos. To me personally, I don't like videos where you just get straight to the point, right? I like videos where you just go like a little, there's like a steep incline,
Okay.
and then you peek here, and the video closes, right? Was that something you were trying to do, or is this just shit that you see online and you just try to?
Let's say that's a nice conversation. We can say that I the main goal for me was to take off me, because I don't like that the influencer thing is all around. It's all going around the guy, the person who is representing the brand. So
Okay.
it's not the brand. So my goal was to completely eliminate myself. I was going to put myself in the background on the process of the creation of the video, but not on the. I'm the aisle. I'm not under under the lights. The lights has to be on the concept of the brand itself. So it's not even on the brand, not even on the garment. My goal was to make people. That is what is the brand for? The brand is for people. It's not for us. It's about content and the people.
Mhm.
So even the content is for the people. It's not for me. So it's not about putting myself into it. So my goal was to put all the people that was supposed to be reached by the brand inside of the video. So create a little bit of like, this is the garment. This is like a sweatshirt. Look at it. And then it is for the people. Like, yeah, it was a little bit built to create like a little bit of a hype to arrive to the point that it's for people. It's not for me. It's not for someone specifically, but
Right.
it's like for you.
I got the feeling that you were trying to like show us a little bit of a story of the making of the video inside of the video itself. Like, those movies or whatever where you have the blooper section where they like screw up or whatever and they
Yeah.
misalign. Like the making of the video inside of the actual video, I think is a cool idea because it builds kind of like a little like identity inside of the video itself. Showing the preparation, showing the folding of the clothes, putting it like on the table, on the
But
bed.
I wanted to keep it very, very simple. Like, just like an everyday shit. Like, you wake up every day, you open your closet, you choose a sweater. It's something you do every fucking day. But, like, life is made of choices. That's something my first boss taught me. And then at the beginning, I really thought it was like a cheap talk, small talk. But afterwards, I just realized that like everything you do, in every little choice you take, and everything you buy, there's a there's a characteristic of yourself. So if you're buying something, it means something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even if you don't know it, even if you don't do it consciously, like if you're buying, like, I don't know, like H&M, and you're just buying it because it's cool, it means that you're buying it because it's cool. It means that you don't know what's behind the garment. This means that you don't know what's the quality of the material. You don't care about
You like
it.
identify yourself with it.
You're putting your identity in that kind of process of what you are doing.
Mhm.
So that point of mine was like they are working with organic shit. So I would never nowadays never promote something that is not sustainable, ethical. Like there's a process conceptual behind of it.
Okay.
But at the same time, I don't want to put it in your face. I don't want to tell you they are organic, they are doing that, because it's not necessary. It's like that's supposed to be the thing. That's supposed to be humanity. Like we are evolving, so we need this. The world needs this. We should work on this.
Something more sustainable.
So I'm just putting it like in the sideways,
Mm-hmm.
in the background. I chose this brand because of this as well,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the main
Why
goal of it.
why the obsession with fashion? Why the obsession with clothing?
There's so fucking many reasons, but the
What would be
main
the
one,
main one?
is connected. It's balancing between two of them. It's because of the vision, like aesthetics is vision, like the prejudice comes from vision. Like your eye deceives you, like puts you to wrong path. Like even like from the story of the Bible, it becomes that the eye is gonna deceive you. It's written in the Bible, okay? And that thing is very, very contrasted by provocation. So if you're creating a visual provocation meaningfully, you're gonna deceive someone with the purpose of deceiving him towards something. And that's something that always amused me. Like always, fashion has always been about appearance because they are putting garments into your skin, which your skin is the first appearance of your body. Like basically humans, they always tell you don't look at the skin of people, don't look at the appearance. But that's bullshit. You always look at it.
That's like the first thing.
That's the first thing you look, and that's the first thing that is approach you to a judgment. You know, and you can manipulate that. You can control it eventually. Once you understand it, you can eventually take care about it and just like create a first impression that you want to other people. And as soon as you realize it, you can actually communicate with people without communicating. That's the power of it. Like I see power in it, in humanity, because we are like limited of language. You know, there's boundaries between languages. Of course. But this thing is over that.
It's universal,
It's universal.
But so do you think that, like, if you have that strong of an opinion, right? And if you see clothing as a way and as a medium to convey a message, right? Do you think that just because you have a piece of clothing, it has to have an identity behind it? Meaning, if I, for example, buy, I don't know, like a white tee, like a plain white t-shirt, right? Do you necessarily believe that there has to be an identity behind that white tee, or am I just putting something on? You know what I'm
never putting something on just to put something on. Like everything you believe that it's just doing, there's no just doing. Just like believing on what you're doing and then like internalizing it and making it like conscious, and then you do it with consciousness, so it's more like natural. Let's put it in parentheses.
Okay.
But there's no just doing auto mode robot things like you're doing it without knowing that you're doing it. That I don't believe in that.
You don't think that exists?
That doesn't exist, in my opinion. If you do it, it's because some other brands, or industries, they have worked a lot on brand identity to create this kind of sense on you. That's the will on them to create on you. Like it's normal. Like for example, Apple, they're creating that kind of sensation while you're using it, that kind of naturality while you're like scrolling on the phone, and you believe that it's normal, but that's not fucking normal. That's what they want you to think. They want you to think that you feel home. You feel like but that's a work that requires years and studies.
And like building the brand itself.
And bring the brand itself to life. That's very complicated in my opinion. So there's lots of concepts that you have to develop inside of it to normalize even wearing a white normal t-shirt on you, because it sounds natural, but like human is made with skin, not with shirt. So why the fuck should put a shirt on? It's not enough cold, in my opinion. It's not enough. Like if you put a t-shirt on, you have to know what kind of t-shirt, where it comes from, how many kilometers it has made to come to you, how many people touched it or worked on it before it comes to you. Like there's a humongous process instead of a normal white t-shirt. As you said, a normal white t-shirt means nothing to me. There's no normal white t-shirt.
There's no such thing as a normal white t-shirt.
There's no such thing, no.
Do you think that like inside of that whole spectrum of just like clothing and fashion and designer and that view that you have, right, inside of the clothing world, right? Do you think that it's possible for anyone to do it? Or do you think you actually have to have, maybe you it came with God, maybe you just learned it when you were a kid, or you were more creative, or you have like a big inclination, but do you think that there's a specific set of people with a specific set of skills or a specific mindset that should do this type of work to portray their vision outside of clothing, or do you think anyone can do it? You think anyone can, if they think they can do it and if they want to do it, do you think anyone can do it? Or do you think it has to be someone?
That's a very nice question. Like since I was a kid, I always thought about this kind of things, like put it in a large scale, not just for brands, but like for any kind of profession, like Formula Uno, Formula One, like as a soccer player, basketball player, NBA player, like any kind of it. Like in my opinion, it's all in your head eventually. Like you have to put in your head that you can do it eventually.
Okay.
But to reach it at the same time, the second step is that to believe in yourself, because you have all the skills, the qualities that they are needed. Like they are humans, they have a brain, two eyes, two ears, two a nose. So eventually you have everything, every kind of skill set to evolve this kind of shit. But at the same time, you have to be humble. Like you have to understand that you can, but at the same time, you have to understand that you have to be humble, because to reach it, you don't need just your skills, but you need a process. You need to put your shit on it, and you need to make mistakes. You need to just continue working on it, and if you are continue working on it, it means you want to do it, and it means you're gonna reach it. If you continue,
So I think
doing
it's
it,
more
you're
of
gonna
like something that you work
Oh, yeah.
towards. You're not born with it.
Yeah, because there's many people that they just do many things during their day and do it like very like superficially, you know. But if you do it superficially, you're not gonna reach it. But if you do one thing every fucking day for 4 or 5 hours, and you're gonna try many ways to reach it, then you're gonna reach it for
So
sure.
you can
Like,
also
you're never gonna
you
give
can
up.
also apply that mindset that you're saying. You can apply that to almost everything.
Eventually, yeah. At the same time, I mean, it's not just about doing it; it's about studying it. It's about like
Consistency.
having the ability to look and understand things that are different from you to put it into your work.
Okay.
Because you have to be humble. That's the second thing I said. Humble means you know that you don't know, and people know maybe more than you, because we're a social animal. So we learn from others. That's what copying means. There's no copying. There's learning. Every time you think you're copying, you're just like learning and proposing your rethought about what you heard. And humanity works like that. Everything has to work with like
Wait, so
every kind of arts of expression. It's an evolution of the art expression it was before. We're never gonna paint like Van Gogh did, because the limits of Van Gogh were different from the limits we have right now. But we can learn surely from Van Gogh.
so you're saying that
attitude, the way-
even if you want even if you want to like copy a painting or copy a piece of like clothing or whatever, you can't fully exactly copy it. You always need to add your dot to it. That's what you're saying. Like you need to add your own stroke.
There was this artist. I just at the moment don't remember the name. Strauss, maybe, I guess, but I'm not sure. No, Strauss is a composer, but something with S for sure. He's an artist whose speciality is copying. He always copied works from others. So, and when I studied this at the bachelor, I was like very amused about this guy, because he and the professor introduced us to him.
Okay.
So the idea was like, we even if we want to copy, it's not a copy. Copy is just like a remade. Even if you are like, you do this, that is just a label, and we want to do the same exact label. Once you do it like exactly the same, you understand that you cannot leave it the same. If not, it's not gonna be yours. You're just gonna do something. So the copy is just a process to try to reach what the first artist that created it reached it. But it's not gonna be the same process as well. Even if it's a copy, even if you try to do exactly the same thing he did, it's not gonna be the same process he did. Okay, he's not copying from someone else once he did it the first time.
Right.
So it's not the same process, even if you do it. So the copy is not a copy.
So that basically means that even if even if you're trying to actually imitate someone completely, you always put your thing on
Exactly.
it.
Your
And you
culture,
can't
your
and you can't even fully, even if you completely and utterly just copy everything to the dot, right? You can't even do it because you're not that person. You don't have the same context. You don't have the same. For example, if I
in my opinion, yes.
so if I grab a canvas, if I grab a canvas right now, right, and I paint, and I go to a YouTube tutorial and I paint exactly the same as like Van Gogh's Starry Night, right?
Yeah, the Starry Night.
It will mean the same thing because he had a whole other idea in mind.
Yeah, no at all.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. If you have someone, right, that doesn't think the way you do, right, this mindset that you're talking about, you can't explain them that, right? Because people, like my dad, for example, he always gave me this type of like an expression, right? The eyes eat first, right?
Okay.
Anything,
Pretty cool.
anything and everything that you do, the eyes eat first. So in any type of situation, your eyes are always the biggest factor because you look at something, for example, a huge like cake, right? You only know that you want it because your eyes ate it first. Like your eyes are already eating before it even touches your mouth,
Okay.
right? And if you have a person that looks at, for example, an imitation, let's say a Louis Vuitton bag, right? You have a Louis Vuitton bag, an original one, and a replica, exactly the same, right? Exactly the same material, same whatever. One was
stop
made.
here now. Gotta go to the bathroom because talking about Louis Vuitton bags takes me a while. I need to pee. 10 seconds. Louis Vuitton bag for the video. It's amazing. Here, I got it.
That was funny as shit. Like you get up. I need to piss because we're talking about Louis Vuitton bags.
Bro, yeah, Louis Vuitton bag is a very I've talked with many friends of mine about this thing. It's very, very complicated and very like tricky.
Right, but it's not. I'm not okay. But
I don't know what you want to talk about it.
No, no, no.
exactly.
But
What
like
about it?
I was, it was an example, right? Because it was the first thing that came to my mind. But what I'm saying is, like a person, a normal person, because I think about myself, right? I'm like a common guy,
Yeah.
and if I see something, right, I don't look at things and look behind them, right? I don't see the context. I don't see whatever the person was going through when it happened. Especially if we're talking like about a piece of clothing, right? Maybe what you're saying is, for example, when it comes to politics, for example, I can't see like a policy being published on Twitter, like a law being passed or whatever. I can't see it for what it is. I always see the context around it, right? Because I train my brain to do so. But like what I'm saying is, in terms of like clothing, there's not a lot of let's say like space to maneuver because the common person does not have that type of educated uh, eye, like trained eye. So how can you in what way would you think that a person can achieve that thing? How can I, for example, look at a piece of clothing that a friend of mine made, right? Or whatever, and look at it and not think it's a black tee with some shit on it.
Just in my opinion, there's no main tips I can give you. But just that the first one and the only one would be like put yourself in doubt. Like ask yourself questions. If you have a question where that T-shirt come from, what it's made from, like who made it, just continue. Don't stop about it. Don't say like, okay, it's his T-shirt. I don't give a shit. Just like put yourself into questions because we have to put yourself. We have to put yourself into questioning things. And the concept, the beauty of concept is exactly that one. Like Louis Vuitton, people follow Louis Vuitton or Gucci or Prada because they've reached a certain kind of awareness. It's a name that everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
So if I put something that everybody knows, I'm gonna be recognizable.
Okay.
But that's not the point of Gucci. They didn't got there to this. Like maybe they did eventually as well, but that's not the main point. They didn't work on a concept that has so many roots and so many deepness that me neither has the opportunity to know the knowledge about all the deepness about Gucci and Louis Vuitton because maybe it's as well like very deep. But they've worked on it and probably is connected with society and with the expression of itself. So if you put inside of it, that's the point of wearing Louis Vuitton or Gucci because they have worked on years on creating like catwalks and fashion shows that they are all connected on humanity. And if you understand that and you believe in that and you like it, then you become Louis Vuitton. You don't need to buy it. You become Louis Vuitton. And then you're gonna
Mm,
start doing that
that's
and
interesting.
behaving like that. But if you just buy it because you need to be recognized like someone or somewhat, let's just put it into it because it's Louis Vuitton, it's an entity that reached its goal, that is going to continue reaching it
Of course.
beyond humanity because they use models, they use designers, that it's a concept, it's a brand. They have worked with humanity to reach something else. It's something very conceptual. And if you don't understand it, you don't put questions, that's the point. Put yourself into questioning things. The concept, you reach the concept, questioning things.
No, that's true. I've never thought it like that. Yeah, of course. That's a good way to explain it the way you're saying, because yes, I think of Louis Vuitton, right? And what do I think immediately? The first word that comes to mind is luxury, immediately. But I don't think of Louis Vuitton and I think about a specific type of clothing. Like the one that I know the most are like the belts and the bags,
And the bags.
right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, the first thing that comes to mind is a concept. It is a concept. Like Apple, for example. If I think about Apple, now I sold phones before, I sold laptops in Portugal and whatever, right? And in the first few times, yes, like I was selling iPhones, right? And I was selling MacBooks, and I was selling AirPods, and I was selling this, and I was selling this. But after a certain point, right, you get like a bit of like a training, I guess. So after a certain point, my whole point was not to sell the phone or to sell the Apple Watch. My main like selling points were going to be, like it's a very well established brand. It's very reliable. The repairs are expensive because if you want to switch something, you need to switch the whole thing. If you break the screen is very high quality. So like even when I was selling those things, I wasn't particularly selling an iPhone because you don't know this, but I don't know if you worked in like sales, but you don't sell an iPhone, it sells itself, right? So the only thing that you have to do is you sell the concept of the whole brand, right? Even I had a woman a few years back when I was working. This woman came to me, right? And I was like working, whatever, and she came up to me and she was like, "Listen, I want to buy an iPhone. I heard like last month there's new iPhones that came out and this." And she had, it was probably like the 13 was released and she had the 12, right? She had like the 12 Pro Max and the 13 Pro Max got released.
Okay.
And I'm not kidding when I tell you that, yeah, we have this color, we have this like storage space. I sold her the phone and she was like, "Can I open it here?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't have a problem with it."
Yeah, you can.
I got the phone, right? And when I gave her the phone, so the Apple boxes,
No.
right? That everyone loves because they're super like basic and whatever, but it's like a staple of the brand. She told me, I gave her the phone like this, like I handed it to her, and I gave her like some papers for insurance of the phone, like screen insurance. The first thing that she does is, "This is the main reason why I bought the phone." And she takes off the little tape and lifts the box. And I don't know if you open those boxes, but like
Yeah,
it goes
it's so
like
fucking complicated to open. Yeah, there's a huge
perfect.
I've studied this shit in the
There's
past,
so
but,
much tension on the box that you just like
yeah,
lift it up
details,
slowly.
User experience, man.
Bro, it's like you're revealing the holy grail, like, oh.
That's part of the brand, man.
And she tells me this she was
This is
look,
Apple.
she was
This is
looking at me, like she looked normal and she was like, "This is one of the main reasons why I got it."
And that's Apple, man. That's Apple.
So I get what you're trying to say. Yes, a lot of times we find ourselves in like we buy things and we do things just for the pure concept of it. It's not even because of what it means or what it is. It's just the concept of doing it. For example, there's a lot of people, like you were saying, there's a lot of people that now will buy, for example, a Gucci shirt with a like a fat ass logo, or like Gucci from here to here, or like filled with patterns on the back, right? And they don't even know anything about the brand. They don't even know if it's Italian. They don't know if it's French. They don't know if it's British,
No,
right?
the trend about it, like as well.
But it says Gucci,
Yeah, it says Gucci.
right?
So it says you are Gucci eventually in your head.
Exactly.
Even if you are not.
I think that
you don't know
people
what you're wearing, but
exactly. I think that people would buy it just so they can see themselves maybe in the same shelf as Gucci.
yeah, or at least pretend to let other people put you in that shelf. That you pretend that you are
Yeah, because it's for validation. It's not even for themselves.
validations. Yeah, it's like having a car. Like a car. why it should take you so much time to choose a car. You just need to move to this side, to that side. The limit on the road is 130. You cannot.
Yeah, if you get like a fucked up Fiat, and if you get a
What's the point of
Ferrari,
get a fucking Ferrari? Well,
I mean-
why should you get a Ferrari? It's a status, bro. It's about how you look. It's about what you're riding, what you are, and it's up to you to decide if you want to be part of it and you're agreeing with it, and so you're showing off that you are what you are wearing, you are what you're driving, you are what you are working on, or you are more.
Hmm.
If you decide to do that, then it's up to you. But I do
Would
believe
you
that
call
people
those
that
people-
explode,
would
they're
you
not
call-
like that.
would you call those people that you're saying, the ones that are those things, would you call them superficial?
I don't know, like we are all a little bit superficial. In my opinion, I am as well, and we all are a little
course.
bit. We have to learn to be, and eventually it's like a safe zone. Like we
Right.
need to be sometimes superficial, but like the core of these people, I do believe that it's a bit superficial. Like if you try to show off what you achieved with your money, with your work, it's not enough. It's all about objects. It's all about like even this kind of brand like Louis Vuitton. We were talking about. I'm coming back to them. They know that it's just an object. So the main part of it, like what is actually Louis Vuitton, is the attitude, is the concept of once you learn how they approach to life, there's no way that clothing is gonna determine you, but it's gonna be the way you approach people, that you look at people, that you talk to people, that your life, like your life is gonna be changed because of that kind of concept. And it's not gonna be how you arrive to a party or what you're wearing to a party. That's gonna help. That's gonna determine some judgment, yes, but it's not gonna be the main core of you. Like once I'm gonna come to you and talk to you, as soon as you look at me or the way you pose on me, like you behave on me, that's gonna change things. It's not gonna be the what you're wearing. That's gonna help for sure. It could help, but it's not gonna be the main factor.
Do you prefer like smaller brands? Let's say you have a huge brand that has a design that you like, okay? And then in an alternate universe you have the tiniest brand ever.
Tiny. Immediately, I'm gonna stop you there because like the tiny, they may have like an amazing concept. They have maybe an amazing group, but they are tiny, and there's a lot of sharks in the sea. You know
Okay.
what I mean? So the goal of the tiny one is that even if they have something that is valuable, they have to fight, they have to persist, they have to still believe in it, even though no one is believing in it. They have to constantly put on shit like online or constantly create shit to show people that they are worth it, to make themselves listen, because sometimes people just listen after a while. Even if you have something to say, they're not going to listen to you if you have something to say for a week or two. But if you continue willing to say for 2 years the same thing, after 2 years maybe you're going to listen. And if they're going to listen, they're going to listen like properly. And only if you continue doing that shit, you continue making mistakes that's not called a mistake, but trials. And inside of trials, there's always a little bit of a mistake because
Of course.
you feel like that.
course.
It's a trial. But if you continue on the trial, it means that you believe in it. And if you believe in it, people is gonna see that you believe in it, and they're gonna start believing on you as well. There's no way people are not gonna believe on that. There's no way. I've never seen it in my whole life. Never.
So that's why you prefer like a much smaller.
Just because of the competitivity, because of the difficulty. I like difficult things.
Okay.
I don't like it because of conceptual things. I just like difficult things. I like something that is complex and it has to become easy to see. You know.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna ask you something that is like I'm just a bit curious about it, which is pretty much right. So you're basically half Italian and half Brazilian,
Yeah.
right? When do you feel, now that you're at like a young adult age, do you feel like your personality shifts in regards to like a certain person or a certain context, a certain situation? Do you feel like, this might sound stupid, but do you think that the Brazilian side of you comes out when you're more social, when you're enjoying a bit more of culture, for example, you pull the Italian side? Do you feel like there's a dichotomy of personalities? Do you feel like do you know that if there's a difference, or you're just plain in one?
Look, that's a very nice question. A few years ago, I was a lot into like being false, as like being like not real. And I was like, you know what? Well, this is one of the main things I'm gonna teach my children, to be not real, because it's like you're gonna look at me like, what do you mean? Like, you have to understand that sometimes you gotta adapt. Like,
Okay.
Marx said that the human that lives the most is not the most intelligent one, but is the one who adapts first. So as soon as you understand and read the situation, you adapt to the situation to take the more advantage to yourself and to the situation itself. It's not about being selfish, it's about being able to understand the situation and put yourself into a very propitious, like something that's gonna give something more to that situation.
Okay.
Not something something that's gonna stop people around that situation, but like put yourself into something is gonna make it evolve.
Okay.
So that's my goal. That's what I think. I do believe that. Yeah. Well.
So you think that you're more of like a chameleon in that sense.
Yeah.
You can go between the two.
Yeah, I do.
If you have to.
Yeah. If I have to.
But,
Yeah.
but why would you ever think in your life that there's a need to be false
It's not about being false. It's about listening.
or to be?
You have to put yourself in the condition to kill your prejudice, and to kill it, you have to you have to become false. Even you have to deconstruct everything you've built. Like you've reached at a certain age. I don't know. I'm 26, for example. To reach 26, I've worked on some shit. I've built some foundations that I'm never gonna come back from them. But if I'm listening to someone new, I have to be able to put away all of that I've built, because maybe he can teach me something away from what I've built.
Okay, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. But like for example, for me, right? Me personally, I also thought about it like that, right? You also have to be sometimes a chameleon in different types of social situations or even not social situations. Like if I think the mind works in like very interesting ways that I don't know if we'll ever be able to explore, in the sense of you're basically the actor in your own movie, right?
Yeah.
Whatever you think that you are, if you think it hard enough and you live it, you will become it. If I walk around with the mannerisms, with the posture, with everything, like the righteousness of a king, right? I will come off as a king.
Become a king.
In an arrogant way, in all of those ways. But the thing that I'm like different from you in that sense, in the way that you're saying, is I think that I don't know, like I'm very transparent, right? I think that in those type of situations, instead of like molding myself or trying to figure out the other person and seeing like how much of me can I show, should I just like get rid of my bases and this, instead of doing that, me personally, I'm not saying this is a good thing, okay? I'm saying that me, I just go for the manipulation.
Okay.
Right? So I've read enough books, I've heard enough podcasts, I've seen enough people that if I'm having a conversation with someone, we're sitting in a coffee shop, right? A person that I've never met, or I exit a class from uni, right? And I chat with a colleague that I've never talked to before. I'm like consistently looking at them because I'm trying to tell off signs. I'm trying to see what parts can I talk about, like the movement in their hands, their posture, if they're blinking too much, if they're smiling too much, if they're looking kind of anxious and like worried when they're talking to me and answering me, right? And then I manage my emotions with the objective that I want in that conversation. For example, if I'm in a table, like in a coffee shop, in a table with four of my other friends, right? And I have the goal in mind that tonight I want to go party and I want to drink and I want to go out, right? And I have these four people and I want to convince them, right? If I have this goal in mind and I'm looking at them, if I barely know them at least, I know for a fact that I can push and I can pull in certain directions, especially the more I know them, the better. But even if I know them just a little bit, their name, where they're from, whatever, even just the basis of knowing nationality, I know for a fact that if that guy is from that place, right, I can tell them, for example, let's say like a Russian guy. This is gonna sound the most idiotic shit ever, but it makes sense. Let's say a Russian guy, right? And I tell him, bro, you should come out, let's have some drinks, let's drink some beer, whatever. And he goes like, nah, bro, I'm tired, and this and this. I could tell him, for example, I mean, I always heard that Russians like to drink, but I guess the Ukrainians drink a lot more than you guys. You know, you guys think that you guys probably ain't that good. You know, like poking some holes in there, like especially if it's a very nationalistic guy, poking some holes on those like, little things that they give out. You know,
Yeah.
and in that sense, I think I don't lose the sense of myself when having those contexts, right? Whereas if I was trying to be someone that I'm not, or getting rid of my bases and my pillars, right? I don't know. I think for me personally, the conversation will be very shallow because I can't reach out too much. I'm not saying that every conversation that I have with any person I'm trying to manipulate them, but I'm saying if I have a goal in mind when I'm talking to someone, right? I'm talking to a guy that's my superior at work,
Okay.
and he's telling me a bullshit story, right? Which is not interesting at all. I'm going to be the most interested person in the world. Like I'm gonna love him. Like I'm gonna love him to death. Why? Because he's the person like above me. I'll get more money. I'll get promoted. Like this is always in the back of my mind. And instead of like playing the card of, just oh yeah, or trying to do this and try to play something that I'm not, I'd rather just be upfront and just be like, okay, let me try to see what he wants and let me try to see what he says. And if I have a goal with that person specifically, I'll push it.
Okay.
Right? That's the thing that I try to do, right? But your way, I think, is more socially acceptable, right? Because, like, okay,
They don't know it. I know it. They know no one's gonna
exactly,
know it
exactly.
that I'm going to do it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, my way, if me explaining it to you, it sounds like something bad, right? We all do it from time to time, but I'm doing it consciously. So it's bad. It's manipulative.
But as well, it's something that I am eventually doing. I'm just studying a bit before doing.
I think it's the other side of the coin.
More or less. Yeah.
I think it's the other side of the coin. But at the same time, I think yours is more socially acceptable because if you tell someone that, yeah, I'm doing this and this and this and meeting this person, maybe I'm not gonna show off as much. Like for example, my favorite thing is to say that I'm from Trento, right? And this guy is from another place which is rivals with Trento, right? Or there's like a hateful thing. I'm not gonna tell him I'm from fucking Trento.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying,
But especially because of that, I know that like there's some little things that they are like annoying people, which I deleted completely from myself because I actually don't believe like nationality and location and cultural location. The last one is the one that I have more difficulty to delete it, but the main two of them I deleted them. I don't come from nowhere. If I really have to tell myself where I'm from, I'm a guy from the world and I want to know more of the world. So I've traveled a lot. I have the fortune to travel a lot when I was a kid because of my parents. So I can actually say, and I'm not lying about it, that I don't have a culture that is like basically from one singular place. Like even when I was living in Honduras, I was staying in Honduras like at 8 months, but the rest of the month we were traveling around in Central America and seeing cultures. Like even when my parents were taking me around, they were not taking me to like the fancy restaurants, to the hotel. They were taking me to the places we were meeting the people around, and we were
Locals.
talking to the locals, buying things from the locals, like sustaining people from local economy. And that was like something to me that I just understood like lots of years after. I didn't understand at the moment, but now I actually understand that that's giving me the possibility to feel like I'm not like just the guy from Trento. I'm not a guy from Trento at all. I'm saying it as a convenience. And sometimes, as I told you, I adapt to the conversation to make myself understandable. I'm gonna say I'm from Trento or I'm from Italy. I'm from north of Italy, but that's not who I am. I don't even know who actually I am. I'm working on it. But if I'm gonna tell you who I am and you need an answer, I'm gonna adapt that kind of answer depending on what kind of person you are.
Wait, so do do you mean that you like location wise, right? I'm talking about the place that you come from.
Yeah.
You don't want it attached to your identity.
I don't feel like that.
You don't even feel it
I don't feel like attached. Like I was born in Trento, but after 2 years I went to Guatemala, and then I came back to Trento. But my mom was Brazilian, and she was always talking to me in Brazilian since I was a kid. And she was always talking to me about Brazil, and my dad was never home. So I was living with my mom. She was Brazilian. I was from Trento. I was very confused. Then we left in Honduras, and Honduras, I didn't even know where the fuck it was. We all talked in Spanish, and another language came by. The school was all in English. I was like all messed up when I was a kid. I was like, oh, what the fuck is going on? So I didn't have a fucking precise culture to a line to follow. I was always very like, here, go there, do this, do that. Mom is talking to you this way. The culture of mom is this. Dad is never home, but dad is from Trento. You go to Trento. You don't know nothing about the culture of Trento. So you understand, after all, that...
Do you think that's better?
It's better, yeah. I really appreciate the fact that, like, now that I'm studying in the semester, like, strategy to reach people, for example, in a marketing strategy, you're a brand that you have to reach people, and to reach people, you have to target them. Like, about the habits they have during the day. And the habits, you can study them because of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
So you can study the habits from culture of Trento, the cultures of Italy, if you want to larger Europe, and you can reach many levels.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I'm studying people, I heartily put myself into them. It's very complicated to put myself into how should I reach Ruben in an advertisement. How can I reach him? Like, what is Ruben looking at? Like, what exactly is I am constantly changing because I have this attitude of constantly putting myself in discussion because I know I'm not exactly from nowhere and I am from everywhere. So I want to know more. I just put myself in discussion. So how can I reach Ruben? He's not reachable that way. Like maybe on a video.
So how do you
YouTube.
reach him? How do you reach
can reach me on YouTube. I don't know, maybe. But I'm not going to look at the ads because I know how ads work. And the goal of the ads are...
So how does a person like you get influenced by advertising?
Humanity. That's not advertisement. Not a media advertisement. To reach me, you have to be a human advertisement. You have to come to me, look in my eyes, and tell me what you're doing is worth it, and you have to explain me that. And in that sort of way, if we reach the eye contact, that is more than 3 seconds, it means that we're connecting, then maybe I'm gonna follow your concept. Maybe there's a...
So to you, there needs to be that that human approach.
It's not gonna be this. Like, even if you talk to me once for 5 minutes, I can have a good impression, but it's not going to be enough for me to buy something, see you next time. Like, if I'm going to... Maybe, yes, see you it's a good possibility, but, like...
You wouldn't sell... They wouldn't sell you anything.
It's not going to... Yeah, exactly. I'm not sellable for the first. I'm putting myself into doubt so much that I'm doubting you as well for the first time. I could doubt everything you say, even though I believe you. Because I can doubt the fact that I believe you, and at the same time that I don't. I'm gonna give you the benefit of doubt. Yeah.
So, but okay. So but basically that means that any type of advertisement. If I was an advertiser and I was starting to sell you something, I couldn't sell you a slogan. I couldn't sell you a picture. I couldn't sell you a video.
No,
I'd have to come up to you and be like, Ruben, nice to meet you. My name is Bernardo, and we're gonna do things this way. But I would have to go. I would have to push things like a bit deeper with you, right? I couldn't show you a T-shirt and be like, "Yo, you fuck with this? Like, you like it?" I would have to be like, "Bro, I have this picture. I have this T-shirt over here. Do you like the concept of it?"
Unless there's a fucking amazing coherence with the picture, like it's a picture I've never seen before with some references that I've never seen before. Then
maybe like a Star Wars picture.
Maybe I'm gonna do it by myself. I'm gonna get curious about it, and I'm gonna be, how he did this? You know, there's some brand like represents like nude project. They caught my eye. They're like, how the fuck did he did it? I want to know more.
Nude project is pretty cool.
So, you know, I didn't buy it. It's not enough to buy me, but it's enough to create curiosity. I'm gonna study you. I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna get some interest because you are working in a way that it's actually effective, in my opinion, because it's effective to me that just eye-catching. You know, it's like we're coming back to the fact about the visual part is very important. It can actually have an effect, but it has to be conceptual. In my opinion, like, if it's not conceptual, you can reach just a short amount of people. If it's deeply conceptual, you can reach this amount of people, and as well, like, if people start studying it, you can reach like many kind of differential people because you're true. That's the point. You're true. You're working because it makes sense, because you want to make sense. Deeply and even superficially. Like superficial, there's like 20% superficial, 80% deepness. So if you work a lot on deepness, you have to work a lot on that 20%.
So you're saying it's like that, you know, that iceberg picture?
Yeah, exactly, the iceberg. That's what I wanted to say right now. The
You know the one that I'm talking about. There's like a little tip, and then there's a huge.
Yeah, I did it.
Do you know a lot of people that think like you? Do you know a lot of people that think like you, like that have that specific mindset?
Not exactly like me, but like similar to me. Lots of them. Yeah, like when I did bachelor in Venezia, there was a very stimulation to my brain, like breakthrough. I gotta say that when I was living in Trento, I always felt like a fish out of the sea. I always felt like the black sheep. Like I don't know why I'm thinking this way. Maybe I'm wrong.
Because it's also a small city.
Yeah,
It's also a small city.
Smaller than Pavia. No, it's slightly bigger than Pavia.
But 180,000?
150,000. And they told me that Pavia is like 70, 80, 90,000, yeah, something like that. So yeah, I always felt like, and plus like the main fact about Trento is that they have an economics and politics that it's all around itself.
Okay.
So it's Trento with Bolzano is the only two cities in all Italy that all the taxes they pay, they stay inside of their region. They're not going, not at least like 90% of them.
Yeah.
Some of them is going like because it's the republic, so some of them is going to the whole Italy, but the most part of it is staying in Italy in their own city, so they invest on the city. So
that's good.
That's good, but
it doesn't promote the outside.
Cool, but at the same time, yeah, it doesn't. It's like you live with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, like, we invest in us, and we believe in us, and it's cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But at the same time, that you're not seeing someone else. You don't understand that we are completely social animals. We're just like social, but with people around here, not with all the rest of the people or the rest of the world. And I was coming from a reality. It was from Honduras, from Guatemala, from Brazil, you know. And you're like, what the fuck is going on with you guys? Trento, what is Trento? No one. I was in Honduras, and they knew Italy, they knew Rome, Milano, but they didn't know Trento. Who do you think you are? How can you behave like this, man? You're just like fucking very narcissistic. I can get it from an Italian point of view, but I cannot get it from a humanitarian, a worldwide point of view.
But people don't have that humanitarian.
They don't have it.
It's not that.
That's why there's Louis Vuitton and there's like brands, the small brands, you know, because Louis Vuitton has the concept that it's attacking all the world, and they can reach even the poor people to want it. They don't even know why they want it. They don't know why. They're so fucking.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
Sometimes I get very angry because, like, why do you want it? Is it like a very quality material, or is it just the pattern you want? You want like the two little squares around.
No, but that's so true.
What's wrong with you?
But that's so true.
Just wake up.
I remember being like, I don't know, fucking like 16, right? And I was starting to watch UFC, and I saw that there was a UFC fighter that went to a press conference that had a huge Louis Vuitton bag, and I was like, I want it.
You see that? You see that?
I don't know why, but I was like, fuck yeah, I want it. I'm gonna have it.
They've worked a lot on this concept of, they have to want it, and they don't have to know why they want it. Yeah, let's work on that. Yeah, let's work on that. They did it. That's chapeau. But once you understand that they did it, and that was the purpose of them, then you understand that maybe they're like, that's Louis Vuitton, they did it. They did Prada, did more or less. Gucci, they did the same thing with Italy, made in Italy, Gucci, worldwide known knowledge. But it's a fucking concept, okay? Once you realize it's a concept, you can create a concept, okay? It's very complicated to reach them, yeah, but you can
create. It takes years, it takes establishing the brand. Yeah, of course.
You can do it, and you can do it like nowadays we have media that are exploding in a way that are interconnected that they were not before. So if you're quite like Speed, we saw Speed a few weeks ago.
In Brazil.
He's a genius.
Yeah, he's a genius.
Because of that, in my opinion. He can reach people in a simple way, simplifying completely everything.
Bro, he goes to Brazil, he can go to... He goes to Brazil, he can go to Mexico, he can go to Brazil, he can go to India, he can go to Pakistan, he can go to China, he can go anywhere in the world, and people will know who he is. And what are his trademarks? Barking, the Ronaldo thing, and fucking what else?
The less complex concept.
It's basic.
Basic. More basic expression of human. That's what he's doing. Streaming, moving his hands, it's like physical.
It's like a universal language.
But he's studying that, and I believe that there's someone behind him. Not just him, but someone behind him that is.
You think so? I don't think so. I think it's very organic. I don't think there's.
I do believe he is like this, but there's someone surely behind him that is telling him like continue, like just like be even more of what you've done.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I've seen some YouTube videos of him, like on.
There's always someone behind him.
No, but I'm saying like in interviews, right? And in interviews, And I've also seen like videos of him, like Snapchats, like very casual things. And the guy, like he looks, acts the same. Like I saw a video, you know KSI, right?
Yeah,
The guy from Prime. Nah, it's weird to tell him like the guy from Prime, the YouTuber.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, YouTube.
I saw a video of Speed and KSI, and it was like an off-camera thing even, right? But someone was recording or whatever. And like I think like Speed walked up to him and like farted on his face, right? And KSI was I think months later he was saying in an interview that Speed is on camera and off camera, he's exactly the same. He's like insane, runs around, just acts like too extravagant, you know?
I'm not saying it right now. What I meant, what I meant about Speed, it was not about what he's doing right now, and not what he's doing while he's viral, but at the beginning, when he started doing that thing.
People are saying keep going.
There was someone someone relevant to him, not just people. It was someone more than others relevant to him that made him realize that he has to be himself, and that's the point. Like nowadays, I agree with you. Social medias are gonna give freedom, like they're gonna be giving space to people that are actually real. That they're the same in real life than in in social media. Like,
it is. I think that mask is kind of falling. Don't you agree? Like now, for example, you see like an actress or an actor, right? For example, let me give you an example. This is a very easy one. You know the musician Camila Cabello,
Yeah.
right? So you look at her from the music. I don't know. I know one song, Havana, probably, and
Señorita, man, come on.
Señorita also, and
Viral.
like I don't know her that well. I've never followed her. I don't think I've even saw her Instagram once, right? But I know the type of I know the type of image. I know the type of image and the type of personality that she has, right? Very like put together and whatever, and this and this and this.
Sud-American.
But then she has a podcast, and I saw some clips and some things of her podcast, and that mask kind of falls, and she is relatively the same, right? But this didn't happen before, right? If you think about it, if you think of yourself, I don't know, like if you can remember when you were like younger, you looked at actors and actresses and like very important people. Those they were like superheroes, you know. They couldn't do anything wrong, you know. I don't know if you have that idea. For example, Tobey Maguire from Spider-Man, from the first three Spider-Man movies. I saw him on those Spider-Man movies, and I thought that's him. You know, that's him. The guy in the movie is the actor, which is that person. And then I don't know. Yeah, and then I don't know, like 6 years afterwards, I see a video of him like on YouTube. He's driving, getting out of like a parking lot, and he's
fucking angry,
filled with paparazzi. He's like, "Fuck you!" lowering the window and
I saw that video.
And I'm like, okay, maybe he also has a mask that he puts on. But now, like these days, I think because of these things, like these type of videos, these type of like podcasts and whatever, people are dropping those masks because I think it's very easy to come off as fake. Like, for example, there's a big thing, which is whenever a YouTuber, a musician, an artist, whatever, has to make an apology video for something. Okay? Like, for example, there's a big, like, controversy or something.
For example.
Whatever it is,
yeah.
There's no apology video. You can't find one that looks and sounds 100% natural.
There's no way, no.
They all sound forced. Every single one of them sound forced. Right? And that's what I'm saying. I think like those masks are kind of like falling off and people can see through the bullshit now.
There's no such thing as reality in my opinion. Like once you understand there's like instead of reality I would use the term of storytelling. That's a block we use that inside of our master, in which like you can create a project that is fucking complicated, related to many systems, many kind of process you have to reach to arrive to that kind of goal, but you have 10 minutes to tell someone that your project is worth it. So you cannot tell all the kind of shit that is behind it, all the technical shit. You have 10 minutes, man. You have to be a storyteller. So once you become a storyteller, you never go back from it. Like anything you do, you try to find a way to say it, not just to say it, just a way to say it. And once you internalize this thing, it's becoming you. It's your reality. So there's no more being fake. It's about being adaptable to telling something in the right way to the people that needs to hear it. I don't know if you get what I'm saying, but
Yeah, I think I do. Would you say that an example of that is like, for example, when you have like a video and there's a clickbait like thumbnail? You know what a thumbnail is, right? No, not the actual thumbnail. I'm saying like you're on YouTube, right?
yeah,
And you're searching for videos and you see like the still image,
okay,
right? That's a thumbnail.
okay,
Okay. What I'm saying is, what an example of what you're saying is, for example, a Mr. Beast video where you have the thumbnail like screaming and there's money and like arrows and whatever, and like, for example, on those pranks videos, and they put like, guy goes into the hood, gone wrong, got shot, got to jail,
surely.
his grandma died, whatever. Would you say that's an example? Like people, you have to captivate
Yes,
the
but
audience.
that's not what I mean. Like, I would go more with Camila Cabello, with what you're saying about Camila Cabello. Like, she's a singer, okay? She's singing songs, so she's the main storyteller of our days. The storytellers number one in our days are songwriters.
Mm-hmm.
Or not even songwriters, song singers. That doesn't mean that you write it.
You're right.
You just
Yeah,
sing it,
facts.
okay?
That's also important.
Facts. Okay, that's
That's
very
also important,
because
yeah.
many of the people we listen to, they're not even writing.
They don't write shit.
They are
Right.
just singing them. But that's not take off the value about singing, because as well it's about singing something that it's written is a storytelling
Of course.
as well. Like you put the passion in it, you have to put like the emotion in it.
Mhm.
And that's more or less the same thing you do while you're talking. Like you spend more time on one word and the other word is faster because it's not that important, or
Because you're giving more emphasis on something.
exactly, that's a storytelling. So even if you're trying to say an apology and you are a social media guy who has worked himself between social media, so you have to say sorry. You've worked on social media. You know how to speech. You know how to put words to relevance. You know how people are gonna listen to you. So it's about as well. It's not about being fake. It's all about being yourself, but in the right way. If you're gonna be catchy, like if you reach people and people believe you, then you're real. If you're not able to reach people, then you're not completely real. You're not gonna be reliable. Not real, but not gonna be reliable. It's about being reliable. There's no such thing as reality or fakeness. There's not about
I
that.
see what you're saying.
I mean,
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, sometimes, not sometimes, I would say like 90% of the times it is for money. You know, it is like to achieve something in the terms of like getting revenue or something. But I think that people sometimes take it to the extreme of whenever you have a person in that type of situation that they try to like slide things out and try to, you know, like modify their storytelling to make it short, sweet, but catch a lot of attention, right? Then I think you get stuck in a rut like very fast. Like you can't leave that cycle, right? Like Logan Paul, for example. I think his brain works in like flashes because he talks and then he talks and then he talks and he only shoots out like kind of like stupid ass catchphrases that you can like, it's kind of annoying, you know, in the same pitch, in the same like, what's up YouTube, you know what I'm saying? Like they paint the same picture and then it becomes repetitive and then you just end up like falling off unless you get like a fucking, you make Prime and whatever, but and the kids buy it. But in the sense of this to say what, like that mask that I'm talking about, that like bigger people, celebrities, right? I think more and more celebrities are less like revered as gods. You know, people look at them,
yeah, there's a
and I think I think celebrities in general are coming off as much more human now, which is something I can appreciate. Like there are some that still keep their, like their, kind of like a bit of an arrogance, but at the same time, you still have those type of people that you can see that they're human. For example, there was a post that I remember seeing, which was very surprising to me, and I was like, why did he even post this? For example, Justin Bieber, I don't know how many years ago, I remember it was all over the news, or Twitter or whatever, which was Justin Bieber posted a video where the
I saw that.
left or right side of his face was paralyzed. And you can literally see him looking over there, and this side doesn't even move. And I think it was something that was fixable, so he wasn't like too, like too in panic. But that was that was an interesting thing, because what would a celebrity do? Like in the classic sense, I think if something happens to a celebrity, right? what do? They post like a nice picture, or they post like a picture from the day before, and they write like a huge caption saying like, "I'm sorry to my fans. I've
I
been
believe
doing
that
this."
Justin Bieber just he got it. Like he got what the strategy of his like the turning point of
You
his
get what I mean?
strategy
You get what I mean then?
of communication was supposed to be. If you just look about 3 years ago, the post he was posting like let's just get past me this nonsense post. They really meant nothing. There was no concept behind them. It was just Justin Bieber. It's me. I'm just seeing this. I'm gonna post it, and I really appreciate it because he's like, I'm a human. I'm just gonna post whatever the fuck I want because I'm just. And he built doing this shit. He built an engagement, a real engagement with people. Because before of that, he was just he was created with social media. He was created with industry. He was not an actual guy who actually he was at 12 years old, but then he got into the industry, and he became part of the industry. And
He became the industry.
he got off.
It was huge.
After he got off, he got abused. He got all that shit. He decided to just fuck it. I'm gonna be whatever the fuck I want. And doing that, he engaged and he regained everything he had before, but in a true way, in my opinion. That I really appreciate what he did.
I think so too. I think
more than his music. I appreciate what he did more than the music he played.
facts. Like the music, you can like it and you can hate it, right? But you can always appreciate the honesty and the transparency of a person, and especially if they're in the status like Justin Bieber, that motherfucker can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like he can't go. He actually cannot go anywhere because if he goes somewhere, people will say that's Justin Bieber. Because I think Bieber is probably more known than. Now, probably more than Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Like, if we're talking I think Justin Bieber has the same recognizable face or the same, like, Justin Bieber thing like Michael Jackson had in the 80s. Have you ever seen that video where Michael Jackson's on, like, a stadium stage? And I think it was a Super Bowl or some shit. And he's like this for, 3 minutes, standing still, looking at nothing. Nothing at all. And people are fainting. Girls are, like, passing out, losing their breath. And that's what I'm saying. I think he's recognizable to that point, you know? And when you have, like, the big person like that being this sincere, for example, Ronaldo. Ronaldo, I think, is I think he's the most followed person.
Which one?
Cristiano.
Yeah, bro.
I think...
Ronaldo, man.
No, Cristiano. He, like... I think that guy is, like... He is the most followed person in the world. He's easily recognizable, whatever. He can't go anywhere, of course. But he doesn't seem genuine to me. Like the only part that I see the only part, and I'm Portuguese, so Ronaldo is all over the news anytime. If Ronaldo takes a step outside of his house and he has his shoelaces untied, it's on the news. So I've seen interviews of him, I've seen him talking about things, I've seen him in press conferences, whatever. And every single time that I can tell that there's something like genuine about Ronaldo, it's only when he talks about his family. Only. Especially his dad or his mom.
I don't believe Ronaldo anymore. I did, but not anymore.
It just sounds... He puts like this like perfect marketing like face on with the boxers, with the Nike, with the this. I get that you need to advertise. He's like a lifetime partner with Nike, like Michael Jordan. But at the same time, he gets paid like $100 million a year just to have the Nike deal. I know you have to advertise it, but just do it more sincerely. You know, just
show. Not sincerely about doing this shit, bro. You don't do it if you're sincere.
Maybe
you just don't do it. And there's lots of people that they don't do it because they're sincere. But like even I don't know, even Messi, like I prefer Ronaldo from Messi because they're like at the same level doing the same shit. Like Messi is slightly less followed from Ronaldo, but they are doing the same shit. Come on, man. We're talking about the same shit during the same kind of performance. I'm not gonna say I'm Ronaldo or Messi. Okay? I'm just saying that there are these two entities, okay, that they're doing the same shit, but they are doing it slightly different. Okay, like
yes,
they are doing it slightly.
They play differently, and even like the way they interact with the fans.
Maybe Ronaldo knows that he's more like good looking than Messi, and he takes advantage of it because he knows that he's more like at propositions, you know, like
you can't be
Galileo made the
bro, you cannot you
know that shit.
Listen, you cannot be ugly if you're rich.
You can look at Messi, man. Come on, he's beautiful. Bro, he's like a cool guy, but you cannot say that he's like
you have a camera with two universes. One Messi is Messi from today. The other one, Messi is as old as he is today, but he's broke. Okay?
Fuck that.
He would be hideous.
Yeah.
Like ugly as shit.
You can say more that thing with Ronaldo as well, because
Ronaldo didn't even have
like
Ronaldo didn't even have teeth.
he was toothless.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. It's very hard to be ugly when you're rich.
Yeah.
Very hard. Very hard. And I'm not saying like getting lip fillers and whatever, but it's very hard to be ugly when you're rich. You can pay, like, for example, Ronaldo. This is the thing that I believe that people agree with me a lot. Ronaldo cannot dress for the life of himself. Like, to save his life, he couldn't dress. He is the worst dresser on the planet, and like just like Harry Styles. To me, it's the same thing. I think they're the worst dressers, and they have so much money to pay someone and hire someone to do it for them.
I have to disagree, man. I have to.
With who?
With
Harry Styles?
yeah, man. You just called the name, just like, what the fuck, man? Just like got confused, bro.
You think so?
Harry Styles? Seriously? He's an icon, man.
I know he's an icon. I'm
I
not.
do believe that he's more an icon of fashion than of music, in my opinion.
Okay,
He's more
wait,
like
okay. Let me clarify myself.
fashion.
Let me clarify myself. I'm not saying that he's not an icon or that he doesn't deserve what he has. And in terms of fashion only, right? What I'm saying is, I think the avant-garde thing that he has, like the what's the name of that song? As It Was, you know, As It Was.
Yeah, come on.
The music video, right?
Yeah.
And the way he's dressed in the music video, I don't think it suits him. If I saw the same music video, for example, and it was, for example, the same music, same lyrics, same everything, but it was Lil Nas X. You know Lil Nas X?
I hate him, but yeah.
Okay, but if I saw him with that outfit,
Yeah.
it would fit him better. It would. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I don't think he has the posture, and I'm saying this in the physical sense and the psychological sense and just attitude wise. I don't think he has the proper attitude to be so like forward like he is. For example, I'm much more like, for example, Zayn Malik from One Direction. I think he dresses very good. Even like in the funeral of the other guy, like a week ago, he was like impeccably dressed.
Mhm.
Still very elegant, but still like very put together, and still himself. You can tell that it's something that he would wear. I think Harry Styles just tries to push some buttons because he can, and I can admire it. Don't get it fucked up. Like I can admire, and I can vouch when someone tries to do something.
I gotta stop you right now because, in my opinion, then I'm gonna let you finish. In my opinion, like, if you try to see it, the fact that Harry is not a guy that's gonna put something that is up to him. He's always, if you look at all of his stuff, he's always gonna put himself in something that he's not reached yet. He's gonna put himself into a situation he still has to reach. Now he still has to own, but he's gonna push himself to be owned by that. He's gonna be owning that outfit. So like he's like putting like, I have to reach this, but I'm not here yet. And everything he does, even the sounds, even the music, as it was the song, like the concept of the song, is still something he's not. He's not as well Harry Styles, a single player, like a song.
I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
But that's what
my
say.
right. My Harry Styles take, like, I'm still like developing it. I know how I feel about it, right?
Mhm.
But whenever I say whatever about him and about his fashion sense, which I think is terrible, I don't. When I say it, I don't want to take any credit off of him, because I still admire that he tries. I still admire that he tries to push something. Like even the fact that to me, he can't pull it off. He can't, but he tries to. To me, that's half of the work done.
Yeah.
That's half of the work done. Like, if I would never be able to judge him and say like you can't pull that off if he never tried. So that I can give him. Okay, I'm still fair. It's not my taste, but I can still admire an effort.
Yeah.
Ronaldo is the same thing. Broke, rich, doesn't matter. He can't dress to save his life. He has this.
But let's just go to the concept. Let's go behind of it. No one should be dressing for life. That is not the point. You should not live for what you wear. Like, come on, man.
No,
who could do it? Like, tell me one person that could, podría, and even if he could, fuck him. Fuck his attitude. Fuck that shit, bro.
I
There's
think-
something's more worth it
Well,
beyond just wearing
I don't
something
know, like,
and
I
appearing.
think there are some actors that rock the things that they
I
wear.
get it, but it's just appearance. You have to look at it conceptually as just like, okay, but it's not gonna save humanity. It's not gonna save the world. It's not gonna change people.
Right,
It's
but
not
it
gonna
doesn't need to
create
have
a
that.
difference between people.
Okay, but to you it has to have that.
Yeah, to me, if you want to
Okay,
get
fine.
that point, you're gonna be like that. If not your Harry Styles, you're Justin Bieber. We're all at the same point. All people that are trying to do something and to reach their goal. Like,
I get what you mean.
get
My
it.
mind is not shaped like that, but I understand what you're talking about. Like it makes sense what you're saying. I don't see it like that, but it makes sense. Like if you see a person somehow, for example, Adam Sandler. You know Adam Sandler, the comedian.
Yeah.
How does he dress?
Or amazing style, man. I love
Like,
the style.
but you look at the style. You look at the style, and you can like almost instinctively tell that's like Adam Sandler. You know, it fits him.
I do believe that there's something behind it, like as well, like there's his thought behind it. Like he wakes up in the morning, he's choosing. There's no one choosing
Yes.
for him, okay? So
Definitely not.
so yeah, I agree with you. That's fucking Adam Sandler, but because he's working on that. Maybe he's not working like hardly, but surely he's putting himself on. He's waking in the morning and he's saying like, I am fucking Adam Sandler. I'm not someone else, and I love myself, and I'm gonna work on myself, and I love the way I am. So he's gonna wear whatever the fuck he wants, but it's not about what he wears, but about how he wears it, and the comfortable like
It's the identity behind it.
yeah, it's like fuck, I'm Adam Sandler. Fuck you. You know, like I'm not gonna be you. I'm not gonna be no one else. I'm gonna be Adam Sandler. You know.
That's I mean.
And you can feel it from every sketch,
Yes,
picture you
yes,
see. You're like,
yes,
you're like, oh
yes.
fuck that, my coffee. Like,
Yes,
yeah, bro,
yes.
you're Adam Sandler.
It feels like he's always
Read
like,
it.
yeah.
Here, bro.
It feels like he's always in a rush, like very lazy, very like outgoing and shit, and just I don't give a fuck. I'll put something on, you know. He looks.
No
he-
pajama. It's not fucking pajama, bro.
Exactly.
You don't know that fucking pants of Nike where they come from? But
I get what you
NBA,
mean.
that shit, bro. It's not
I get what
fucking-
you mean. I get what you mean.
But
With
the
Adam
look,
Sandler, I get
The
it.
idea, I get what you're saying. The idea is that comfy, okay, feeling comfy. But that's the style he's transmitting.
He's trying to go for it.
That's the style he's trying to transmit to people. It's different. Like that. He's not going with luxury, for example. He's like going with like comfort. So that's why he's wearing Nike, Adidas. They are sportive shit because it's about movement. Like the concept behind this brand is about movement, comfortability. So he's trying to transmit the same kind of ideality.
Yeah, I've seen him rock.
in my
I've
opinion.
seen him rock like sneakers from Nike that look like they're from the 50s. You know, like motherfucker, the fucking shoes are. They look. I don't know. They look weird. You know those Nike. I think it's Shocks. Nike Shocks. The model.
I don't know.
I think there's a Nike Shocks model that have like springs on them.
Okay.
Right? They have these little balls on the sides.
Okay. I get
You
it.
probably
Yeah,
saw
yeah,
those.
I know them.
I've seen them rock them. I've never seen anyone in the planet use those sneakers, and I'm like, oh, that looks cool. I've seen them rock them, and I'm like, okay, that's Adam Sandler. I like his sneakers. Like they look cool on him, you know. But I also know that I'm thinking about this because I know that it rocks on him. Like it suits him, like a very comfortable, like sportswear.
Okay.
You know, like baseball tees. For example, do you know that like that clothing thing, which is you put a hoodie on, right, like a hoodie, but you put a baseball jersey on top,
Okay. Yeah.
right? To me, that's Adam Sandler, through and throughout.
Okay.
Like Adam Sandler to me is the perfect like idea of it, because it just looks comfy,
Yeah.
but you're also trying to reach something. You know, just I'm sportsy at the same time. Like I'm comfy,
Yes.
but I'm sportsy. I'm cozy, but at the same time I can run. You know, because I have Nike Shocks. Like you know what I'm saying? And that idea to me is just how it works basically.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Like every single time that it works like that, I can see an identity, right? I can see the identity in Adam Sandler. But with Harry, I don't think it fits him.
There's two different kind of roles as well. Like Adam Sandler, you approached him in a movie. Harry Styles in a video of 3 minutes, maybe. I don't even know if you've seen all his videos.
Not all of them. No.
So but as well that the cultural attitude you have towards Harry Styles and just a singer, let's take away the name. A singer compared to an actor is completely different in my opinion.
That's also true. And also, I'm also comparing Adam Sandler with paparazzi pictures that he's walking on the street and music videos where Harry has 15 kilos of makeup.
Exactly. Yeah, that's well.
That's also true.
Like you should look, and I do that. We get images. Do you know I get?
Yeah, Getty, of course.
They do to take pictures about Harry just wearing some shit, and he has his own style as well. They are related to the song videos as well, but in the song videos he's creating a virtual concept. He's like exaggerating, okay? Like it's like he's exaggerating. Like the same thing should be in a movie. Like if you have to, I don't know, in the portrait of happiness, Will Smith, he looked like a fucking poor guy. You would never give him €1 if you see him crossing the street. But he's fucking Will Smith. He's one of the 10th actors most paid in the world. But in the movie, he had to look at it
twice at Will Smith if I didn't know.
Like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Come on.
Thanks.
You want? What the fuck you want? Go to work, man. Everyone works. That's what you say. But that's the point of the movie. That's the point of the concept. That's the point behind all of this shit. Like visual things, they all have concept. And to read that kind of concept, the only thing that I don't like is the fact that to read that kind of concept, that's the point. To read that and to understand that kind of concept, you need knowledge. Mm-hmm. And the knowledge is not free. That's not free. Not the video, not the clothing, but the knowledge. To understand things is not free. And it's not, let's say that maybe it is free, but it's not free to find, free to understand. You need to work on that concept.
You need to search it.
You need to search it. You need to be hungry to understand more, because things are not black and white. Okay, there's gradation inside of it, and there's a reason, because from black you can go to white. Okay, it's very metaphoric what I'm saying, but
no, I get you. There's like a gray scale from white to black. Yeah. There's a gray scale that goes all over. Yeah, I get what you mean. I guess it makes sense.
And in every kind of system that has evolved, touching lots of people, there's a big gray graduation scale. It's humongous. The bigger people is touched about it, the bigger the scale it is.
I see what you mean.
And plus as well, there's lots of way to reach people around the world. You know, like we have a cultural European approach to life.
Of course.
There's Asia, and still Harry Styles is touching Asia. And why? There's many reasons that even I don't know all of them because I haven't studied that. But surely there is a reason why Harry Styles has touched more Asian people than European, because he's breaking through Asian style. And I don't know why. As well, there's surely a studied reason of his approach to visual identity, and as well merchandising. Probably there's a.
So you think he has an actual team behind him doing those?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would put my hand on fire right now because of that. For sure, like every kind of concept behind. Like if you look behind like Tony F, let's just destroy. Ooh. Tony F is the #1 in Italy with Sfera Basta right now. Tony F. Do you know Sette Samba, the song that was most famous this August?
No. Come on, is that a singer, rapper?
Yeah.
The only ones I know is like Club Doggo.
No man, it's a bit higher. Tony F, come on, you haven't heard like good. Come on, man.
No, I haven't. I swear.
No fucking way, man. You haven't.
No, I haven't.
Anyways, I don't want to freak, but he's like very like low compared to all the artists, like they're worldwide artists, because he's like trying to reach Italy. Okay, so he's trying to like with his video, with his attitude, and he's reaching it. He did it. Then not to you yet, but
no, not to me, not to me. Not that I consume a lot of Italian media, but
he's #1 icon in Italy at the moment. He overlapped Sfera Basta in my opinion this year. Okay. And the reason why is because he's focusing on his target. He's focusing on the communication to his target. In America, you have other kind of systems that are connected as well to historical process, that they allowed them to be studying Europe, studying Asia, studying people they helped historically during wars before, so they can approach in a marketing way that they have studied before, so they can reach them. They can actually in the future gain money from them and gain interest and gain followingness from them.
That's also because, especially if you're talking about America, because America is it's a very mixed population. You can find everyone from any place everywhere in America. You can find anything in America. And if you go to, let me give you this example, in Portugal, I don't know one Muslim. I don't know one Muslim person in Portugal. I've never met one in 24 years. Like I haven't seen anyone. I haven't even like, I've never talked with, and I've talked with a lot of people, but I've never talked with someone that told me a story of a friend or a person that he knows that was a Muslim.
Jesus.
We're 10 million people in Portugal, right?
Yes,
But
I don't know.
here, for example, even in Italy, you go any big city, and you can see Muslim people. You
Yeah.
can see them even in formal attires. You don't even necessarily have to go to a mosque to find one, right? But in America, especially if you're in New York, I don't know if you know, but New York has an expression, right? That they call it, which is the melting pot. New York is the melting pot. Why? Because everything goes to New York. You find you're walking around in New York, you can find everything and any person from anywhere. Like New York is like the, let's say life is multiplanetary, right? And you have the capital of Earth, it would be probably New York.
Sure.
Not because of the amount of population, because of the diversity, right? At least I would say it, and I think that's an accurate assessment. And like, of course, my Portuguese brain molds my reality, and yes, I might, for example, if I make a brand, I won't have those type of ideas in mind. I won't have an Asian market in mind, right? But okay, if you want to learn, and if you, like you were saying, if you search it and you learn from it and you work towards it, yes, of course you can try to direct your audience. But me personally, it would be extremely hard for me compared to like an American, right? Especially because of if you're talking about the Asian
Depending
market.
on the kind of American, because as well.
Well, if you're talking about like someone in the middle of America,
You gotta
outback.
understand that America, they as well built it on themselves, so they hyped themselves more.
Of course.
Than where.
Bro, I know American history like the back of my hand.
I've met many American people that they tell me that they are completely ignorant. They just believe that they are Americans because they are Americans, but they don't know why.
They're basically
They're not studying.
Americans throughout their history and even in the beginning, they're basically the chosen people in their eyes, right? They have the concept of WASP, which is WASP, which is American people are the chosen people of God, and WASP means white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, right? Which is the white people that came from England that were chosen by God to lead into the new world, which is basically America, and fuck the fucking the natives and the pilgrims and whatever, that whole story in the 4th of July and Thanksgiving, which is on Thursday, tomorrow, I think. They're built with that incense, and that's something that I think is pretty cool. Like I'm not an avid defender of like nationalism, but patriotism is something that I think is vital for the sense of identity. And I think people, for example, like you were saying the thing about Trento, right? I think that not necessarily belonging to a place or feeling ties to a place, I don't think you lose anything because of it, right? I don't think that's something bad, right? But at the same time, you still identified yourself with something, which is humanity in general, with the world in general, right? You look at people, regardless of location, regardless of wherever you are or where they are or wherever you meet, and you look at them and you're like, you're a human like me. So we have a complete amazing sea of similarities and coincidences and things that I'm going to do this and you're going to understand. And if I'm going to do this, it's a yes. Might, but in general, right?
Possibility is huge, yeah.
I think like the thing that you're saying of the identity and not crossing it with a place or a territory or whatever, right? To me, I think it's a very important thing, but within your own community, within your own people, right? I'm not saying you should overvalue your people over others, but the strong sense of unity that people usually have, people unlike you, the strong sense of unity that people have, I think it's very necessary. And the more patriotic and the more you love the place that you come from, the better it is. If there's people like you that can get a very much bigger grasp of things and maybe like fit the whole thing in a big ball where humanity is humanity, it doesn't matter if you're from Trento, if you're from Venezia, from Sardinia, whatever it is, that's also something that I think you're doing the same thing as the other people are doing. You're just like expanding it, just putting it in a broader sense,
Yeah.
right?
Can become in the long term a contrast, because if I see all of it, I'm not gonna work on just a part of it. I'm gonna work on all of it. Like the concept of design, another thing we started in the master. A good designer needs to be able to listen to the world, to give to the world what the world needs. Okay, so creative design could be a graphic design, could be fashion design, could be a mechanic design, but whatever it is, has to be to give an answer to a request of the world. Like a designer has to be, first of all, a listener. Let's just like put things clear.
Okay.
The designer is a listener. So if you have the capability to listen, and to listen not just your world, but the world, even not just mine, but the world of others, because being a designer means help people, help, and give not just help, but give solutions to people,
Okay.
give paths to people, and to give that, or something to transform something complicated to something easy, or something very like a resume or of something complex. To do that, you have to be able to listen and to see precisely things, because if not, you're just gonna say something that is just reliable, just for yourself, maybe in a selfish way, or just for your community or for your interest. And that's something that could be a contrast to someone that is seeing the big picture, because we're all connected, So if you see that I am all connected, but just in Italy, because my country is from Italy and we have the same values, we have the same culture. So I do believe this because I have this kind of learnings inside of this kind of place. So this is happening in these circumstances. But as soon as I go out of these circumstances, this kind of situation is different. So you're gonna create a contrast that this is gonna work just here, and your mentality is gonna develop, and a kind of attitude that's gonna just work in that kind of place. In my opinion, I'm not afraid of putting myself into some discussions and to reevaluate everything again, because then maybe, I don't know, next year I'm going to India and I realize that some things, or maybe everything that I'm thinking is just not,
it's different.
It's not connectable to India. So fuck that. I'm just gonna try to find a way to connect it to Italy and to India as well. I'm gonna rebuild it. I know what is necessary to Italy, but I have the humbleness to understand that it's not enough. Because it's not enough. Because as well, Earth is not enough to keep the universe, or the Via Láctea, all
The Milky Way.
the Milky Way, yeah. The Via Láctea, all together.
I see what you mean.
Gotta go to the bathroom again, friends.
Okay, we've been an hour and a half.
And there's not enough time. We need to drink twice. They don't know it.
He's going to the bathroom. You want to say goodbye first? Goodbye. Thank you very much for listening. And
yeah, thank you. It was an amazing experience.
bye bye. Thank you for coming. Bye bye.